Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video. I'm Rob and today I shall be attempting to take this Hot Wheels Corvette Hi-Rakers from shabby to shiny. This one, well, it's stamped underneath as 1979, but I believe it's a little bit later than that, probably in the early 80s. But as you can see, this is one of the Hi-Rakers cars. So basically you can just lift up. I think there's 3 different levels to how high you can have the rear end on this, and I'm sure for any kid that would have been playing with it, it would have been really fun. So yeah, this one, beautiful car. I think the actual casting and the lines of the scale is really great to the Corvette, but yellow, I don't think it really suits it. And also this kind of decal that's on the top doesn't suit it. And yeah, these wheels, well, they can be certainly improved today. So let's see what we can do with this one. But yeah, if it does reach 2,000 likes, it could be yours. But yeah, she does roll certainly very well. And this is the Hi-Raker's rear end in action. I think it was very short-lived. Not sure why. I think it's a great little gimmick. Yeah, just pushing it down, pulling it out. You know, you could do wheelies. Good fun. But yeah, this decal or paint that's on the top, not really doing it for me. And as you can see underneath, just simply reads Hot Wheels, Mattel from 1979. This is made in Hong Kong, this one. You can see I have attempted to drill this one, and I snapped my piece in the hole. I went at it a bit too hard. I think now I did use lubrication and I was drilling the hole, but I guess you could say I was up against it for time and I wanted to get it done quickly, and I went full power on my drill, pushing too hard, going too fast, and I still managed to snap it. So take your time and you should be okay. But yeah, so this one will be glued back together today. But taking the base off and just trying to remove the rear wheel without breaking it. And there's just a little kind of tab that's holding the rear axle down. And there it comes free, so I'll put that in my parts bin. And the Hi-Raker section to one side, that'll clean up nicely later on. And I'm just going to take out the front axle off camera, but you know how that goes. And then the window section here, there is a tiny little crack in the front. I was hoping it was just going to be a little bit of a scuff, but yeah, looking at it, usually through the other side, you can really tell whether it's a crack or not. But it's not super visible. Once it's all polished out, and in the final result, it's not too bad. But yeah, let's get the main casting here into the foot-long hot dog jar, covered in boiling water, and in comes a tablespoon of caustic soda. So giving it a little swishy swish. Actually, this one I found that it didn't. Well, in the actual glass in the jar, it didn't seem to do too much, but the paint come off in like an almost skin. Yeah, strange to try to explain, but it come off. But yeah, clean up the plastics whilst it was doing its business. I'll leave the base out and I'll polish that up separately. But the interior here, looking good as new. And also this Hi-Raker's bit, there was some, I guess, rusty residue that needed a Q-tip or earbud to remove that. And yeah, we'll be using the plastic polish for this windscreen today. I did have a different video planned for today. I got up early, went to a local boot sale, or I think you call it flea markets in the USA, and it was a total bust. I didn't pick up a single thing, so the video was useless. But I come home and I've spent the day now just customising this little car. But yeah, the windscreen there coming out very good, and I'm just taking my Dremel to polish up the base. And I think you can see that doing that all over, that's going to come out quite nice. And indeed, probably 10 minutes later, yeah, looking almost as good as new. I'll add a little bit of extra chrome paint on the bumpers and the side exhaust. But yeah, I honestly thought I would have to go with a different method, or even a second round of caustic soda, because in the jar it just didn't look to have done anything. And I didn't take any footage because I thought, well, there's nothing to take footage of, it just looks the same. But yeah, sure enough, actually rinsing it out, it's almost like it come off like a skin. And I don't know whether that's just the paint that was used in the early 80s with Hot Wheels, but it was unusual. So this wasn't a 100% paint removal today, it was only around a 95.2%. There was a few little scraps hanging on, which, you know, for the Dremel takes quite a bit of time and effort to get off those little bits of scrap. But you'll also notice when I hold the casting up, the metal underneath is different. It's almost like the caustic soda leaves the metal in a much better shape for me to polish up. You can't see it once it's painted, but I thought it was worth pointing out. The casting here, now it's all the paint is removed, there's a few dodgy casting lines and I guess bits and pieces. You know, once you put in several hours into these cars, to skip at this point would just be a real shame. So I'm going to go over the whole thing with some 1200 grip and really make sure this is smooth. And then we go with the Tamiya Fine Surface Primer in white. And hopefully you can see a difference. Certainly smoother. Some casting lines have been removed. And I'm much happier now to proceed with painting. I'm going to go with a candy red today. So I thought to go with a light primer, and then a metallic, and then lastly the candy. It's a different colour combination that I've used before, so I think it's you know, every car I feel is an experiment. I don't like to do the same thing twice. But yeah, I'm using the Vallejo model colour. This is a copper, and I used a acrylic thinner, and I think I probably thinned it out just a little bit too much. So you'll see, or you should at least see, on the first blow over of this colour, it looks a bit odd, almost scaly, like a snake skin. After I put the second layer on, it was uniform and smooth, but yeah, I think it was because I went with too much thinner for this one. Perhaps you can see what I mean. Almost like a leopard spot. But yeah, once it had dried, like I say, second coat was fine. And then we go with the premium range. This is the red, the candy red. And like I say, to be honest, I could have left it with this colour. Would have been quite interesting, quite nice. But I had my head set on a candy. And of course with candy, you know, if you can go over a light metallic, whether it's silver or gold, or I've used it over metallic yellow before. But I'd never done it over this copper, so again I just thought, why not? Let's see what kind of colour it creates, what effect it makes. But I went with 2 coats of candy and left it out to dry. So it is now later in the day, so we've got that interior nice and clean. This window nice and shiny. I've had a little tab here which keeps the wheels in. This is the green light wheels that I've selected for this casting, and a little bit of chrome on the exhaust and the bumpers there, and then the shiny bodywork, but as a reminder of what she looked like. So this is the result. Coming around the front there, so as you can see, the chrome on those front bumpers. I think I left it initially just as the standard metal, but it looked a little bit kind of dirty, I guess you could say, albeit polished. But yeah, look at the rake of that. I think that looks wonderful. And that's actually at his lowest setting, so it would really jack up that rear end if you needed to, or wanted to. Bit of chrome in the door handles, and also that rear gas cap. There is red in those rear lights. But yeah, I think this is the right set of wheels for this car. And there's just I think the correct amount of rake, that little bit lifted in the rear, down in the front, real mean, and that is a shiny paint today. I hope you agree. Do remember, with 2,000 likes, it could be yours. So let me take this opportunity now to thank my amazing patrons. Thanks again very much. And for everybody else who's watched, thanks a lot. Please like, please comment, please make sure you subscribe and click that bell, and stick around for the next one.